When I first started working at the Cherokee Family Violence Center, we had 2.5 staff members. Our shelter was run completely by volunteers. Back then, you did everything. You did do protective orders. You saw her at the shelter. You were interacting with law enforcement on a much more personal basis. I would go down to the state capitol to testify about how laws affected victims of domestic violence. So we really did work with our local law enforcement, our judiciary, our prosecutors to figure out a way to intervene more effectively. Now we have systems that help respond, and we have an infrastructure at our agency.
I'm Todd Hayes. I'm Cherokee County Solicitor General. We prosecute all misdemeanor crimes that occur within the territorial confines of Cherokee County. That puts us right on the front lines of domestic violence and family violence situations. When the Family Violence Center came into being 40 years ago, there were correspondingly fewer resources and fewer paths to freedom and justice for victims and survivors. Over the past 40 years, the resources have grown, the pathways to justice have increased. There are a whole lot more ways for people to get out of these situations and create safer futures for themselves and their families.
The moment that I turned from a victim to a survivor was when I took my life back. My ex-husband was very abusive, and I had to get out. The DA's office, they had mentioned to me about the Cherokee Family Violence Center. So I reached out and spoke to other advocates, and I met with Tommy.
I work with people and help them get temporary protective orders, escort them to court, safety plan with them during the process. Domestic violence is one thing that does not discriminate no matter what. The power and control that is used by an abuser is just so intricate that the people that are suffering this and enduring this need an advocate to kind of help them see through the weeds.
They do things, these people put fear into you so bad, you want to make sure, and they're not there. But my ex-husband followed us, and he found where we were. But he would tell me things like, during our divorce, what if you come up missing? Well, that night, I had a man come to my door at midnight, banging on it. I think after that point, I said, no more. I'm not gonna be afraid anymore. I can't. I mean, I've got the girls at Cherokee Family Violence Center backing me up, going to court with me. They're there, as my support. And I just felt empowered.
I feel like it's important to be a voice for somebody who may feel like they don't have one. When I talk about Cherokee Family Violence Center, I talk about hope. Because if you're sitting in your apartment by yourself and you don't know where to go and you don't know who to talk to, we provide that outlet for you. We do provide shelter and housing. We provide an umbrella of services for people who are experiencing domestic violence. Collaboration between community partners is so important. Each of our community partners, they have their specific expertise. The Children's Haven and CASA, an amazing expert of working with children in the court system. We work with Goshen Valley Therapeutic Services too, and they meet with our kids, they meet with our moms in English and in Spanish, and we work with DFACS. So it all works together because when people are leaving their abusers, it's the most dangerous time for them, and we want to make sure that they're safe when they do that.
I think it's extremely important for local government to support organizations like the Cherokee Family Violence Center. And the impact that I have is being able to pick up the phone and call Meg or Stephanie or anybody else that serves the organization and know that those victims are going to be taken care of and have a place to turn.
When we're working with people from different countries of origin, they feel isolated. They don't have family, they don't have friends. Unfortunately, in the community, there were not available services in different languages, and that's why it was created the multicultural program where we were focusing on culturally and linguistically appropriate services for all victims of domestic violence and stalking. the multicultural program started answering the statewide domestic violence crisis line in 2014. We realized that there was a need for Spanish-speaking advocates to help the community. So this program has really created that community system. We have been serving 1,123 families from 91 countries of origin. And we don't want them to just assimilate these new cultures. We really want to merge their culture to this culture.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes of the individuals that support the center and make the center successful. And I see the families coming together with the volunteers to make a positive difference in the community. Events such like the Candlelight Vigil, just deeply moving, and meet some of the survivors and families who've lost loved ones to domestic violence, and to hear those stories, the stories are just deeply moving, knowing that there is a community and a network you're ready to embrace them and serve them in ways. It's truly inspirational.
I probably wouldn't have been where I'm at now if it wasn't for Cherokee Family Violence Center, because when you're lost like that, you need direction, and they have helped with support groups, they have helped with housing, they help women. Cherokee Family Violence Center saves lives, and I'm living proof.